This episode of Super Pulp Science is brought to you by Blood Letters by GMB Kamichuk and Ariel Gordon. Blood Letters is an artifact from the future, a jumbled archive of robots, soldiers, dot matrix printouts, ID cards, propaganda posters, photos, maps, and letters. The human detritus offering hints that something has gone horribly wrong. Available where all books are sold.
Attention, citizens! It's time for Super Pulp Science!
This is Super Pulp Science, where we talk about how genre gets made. My first question is to Dan. Is Jonathan too loud right now?
I don't know. I think it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Should we do some playback to find out?
No. It's fine. I have the. It's hard for me to keep track of what's going on, but it's. I have the AI algorithm that can take out background noise, so that's usually not a problem.
Wait, I don't want anyone to know that we use AI to
come on
our podcast.
I use AI for all kinds of stuff.
Gross. Gross, Dan. Gross. That changes the tack of my whole mood has shifted.
Oh.
Yeah, I was in such a good mood. I am here with my long-suffering co-host, the newly award-winning Justin Curry, known the world over as Chasing Artwork. The Chasing Artwork new art book won a very prestigious award.
Won like
just recently.
3 or 4 awards.
Really?
Won a couple, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
I don't know exactly which ones. It was the Canadian Printing Awards, so more like the technical aspects of the book, like the foil that I did and the slipcase and stuff like that. And I can't really take too much credit. Friesen's, the guys who printed the book, also submitted it for the awards. So I feel like it kind of was an easy one.
And Friesen's is on our mind, of course, because Donovan, shout out to Donovan, who we know listens, our book rep of many decades, has been promoted. And we have a new book rep, Tom, who came to meet us today. Mm-hmm. And so we were talking about those things. But for the behind the scenes of how an award like that would come about is in the industry, different types of printing techniques, right, stand out as being difficult to accomplish at scale. And Justin, without his own knowledge, had asked for enough of these different processes to be combined in the book he had designed, with a slipcase and a foil stamp on the case, and then I think a embossing on.
So I'll read the blurb because I have it here. Yeah. So it won best print project of Prairies, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Alberta, Chasing Artwork. Book, softcover offset, Chasing Artwork, and finalist Best in Show, Chasing Artwork.
Best in Show?
Yeah. So Chasing Artwork showcased bold visuals and exceptional print quality. One of the standout features is the creative use of foil stamping, not just as a title accent as part of the artwork itself. Foil was integrated into the white spaces of the illustrations, adapting movement and depth. The foil interacts with the animation-style drawings, making the cover feel dynamic. Completing the presentation is a foil-stamped belly band that mirrors the cover's pattern and is crafted to fit the book perfectly.
Can I just say that if we want to show our receipts, a dear listener could go back to previous episodes where you were first starting to do foil printing, and you gave me advice to say, if you're going to do it in any way, you have to think about it as part of the artwork, part of the composition. It cannot be an afterthought. And here you are.
Yeah, a new color, as I often describe it.
Yeah.
Like you don't just trace over what's already been done. Like it's a new color, a new piece of light that you get to add to a painting. So it's fun. It's becoming very commonplace in Artist Alley.
The industry starting to
yeah.
catch on that foil printing works as far as getting it.
Well, it's a very dynamic looking process,
but you were an early adopter.
Yeah,
did you see it somewhere else, and you wanted to do
Scott
it?
Ford, right?
Scott, I'm going to give all credit to my getting into foil to Scott Ford. That's Scott A. Ford.
That's right.
On Instagram and Facebook and all those things. But he experimented with it first and blew me away, and I immediately wanted to try it. And this was years and years ago, and here we are. But yeah.
So I think that's kind of important here is that you didn't know you were even up for those awards. You didn't design the books with knowledge of those awards even existing as a thing that you could be up for. You had just applied this idea that it's not a design feature, it's a composition feature. And so think about your composition and include it. And then that translated into the production side. And I think that this is another great example of, you have to follow the challenge you've set for yourself rather than the challenge others are setting for you in order to stand out against the crowd.
We've been talking about publishing and margins of books and retailers a lot in the studio lately. So I also want to bring up the fact that I didn't make this book as cost efficiently as I could have. I wanted to make the coolest looking book that I could have. And I know that at conventions, I make my margins on prints and on other things. And so for this book, I can kind of go all out and try all these fancy things that I wouldn't normally touch. And had this been done by a normal publisher, we wouldn't have even thought of half of them.
Thing to point out there from the dollars and cents, on its own isolated subject line, it's not a cost-effective project.
No, not at all.
In the aggregate of all the project you did that year, you knew you could afford it in the margins of other
Absolutely.
things.
Yeah.
And
that's a great thing about being a print artist is you have the wiggle room to experiment with other things like this.
Yeah. And I think that's important if you're going to make art at all, that you have to be trying stuff you've never tried before, or you quickly turn into just a production line.
And Gregory, you always say one for them, one for me,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You do the thing that, puts food on the table, and then you do something that is completely out of left field and you have no idea if it's going to work or not.
Yeah. And we've been lucky in that of the sort of 5 or 10 really weird things we tried in the last few years, most of them found their audience.
3 to 4 of them usually work out.
Yeah.
Out of the 5.
Yeah. And however, I don't rely on that. I don't think, oh, well, no problem. If I do 5, 3 of them will work. That isn't even in the idea. I'm working on a project right now, sort of in the margins of some things that I think is maybe the least commercial thing I've ever thought of.
Okay.
But I just
Hold
get
on.
excited.
3 podcasts ago, we talked about your book that has no language in it whatsoever.
Yeah,
I think that's the least commercial.
But instead became one of my best sellers last year.
Has how many different covers?
204 or 208. I'm not
Different,
sure.
unique covers. Yeah.
Yeah.
The opposite of commercially
So
sound.
you said there's been too much business going on the show and in the studio, and I agree.
I
So
didn't say that.
yes, you did. This is my segue, and you'll get out of the way. So I think we should do a creative story break, Dan. How do you feel about that? Our producer extraordinaire, Dan, has also been trapped in the world of business a little too much.
Yeah.
And business. So
Numbers.
business. So let's instead do something that we like to do on the show, which we call story breaking, which is, if you're new to the show, a very simple process by which we +1 each other's story ideas in an effort to race through the structure of a complete story, a beginning, middle, and end, a why this, why now. And we don't worry too much once we get started, dear listener, on whether it's a good idea. We only worry about whether or not we see that spark in each other's eyes, which is kind of what we're talking about when we're talking about how you ended up with this foil printing award, right? You just followed what was fun and interesting and cool, and it resulted in something good because you had no trouble working on it.
Yes.
So when we do a story break, we usually break down within genres that we usually do here at the studio. But it is the holiday season. Should we do a story break that's a little more wholesome, a little more
I was
family
thinking
oriented?
something more family friendly.
Right? We usually do horror, science fiction, or a
know if I
mixture
can
of
do this.
both. You don't know if you can do
I
that?
could try. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's certainly worth a shot. And
Okay, but like family friendly, I'm thinking like Goonies
okay.
kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Well, and let's also mention that our 3 family-friendly books that we did, Cassie and Tonk, Rust and Water, and Dragon Nanny, all have at some point in them deep sadness, horrible ecological disasters, and life and death situations. Like, he can still be exciting. Sure. Right? Yeah.
That's the exciting.
When you say family movie, you're like my kids. If they see the rating is like G or 14, they're like, I don't know, Dad. Do we need to bother watching this? Right? They've become so jaded. But every now and then you can surprise them with a good twist that is actually okay for everyone to see.
Johnny.
4 weeks. 20 papers, that's $2 plus tip.
Gee, Johnny, I don't have a dime. Sorry.
Didn't ask for a dime. $2.
What if we combine something that we all grew up on? Is the Underdog sports team movie.
Right. I usually didn't watch them, but yes.
But let's combine it with something that you do like sci-fi.
I'm just trying to think of an underdog sports team movie. The first one that comes to mind is Mystery Men.
What? Bad News Bears is the one.
Bad News Bears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Mighty Ducks.
Yeah. Never saw a single Mighty Ducks in my whole life. Yeah. And this is like the same jaded thing I was just criticizing my own children for. What's the one with Denzel Washington where he has the
Remember the Titans?
Remember the Titans? I've seen a few
Oh.
times. That actually is a great film, I would say.
It's a football movie.
I don't see it as a football movie. Like, okay, so this is a great moment.
Okay.
The transcendence of a story worth telling in context of a time or place that happens to have sports in it is something I could get behind. You're like, oh no, a family movie. And I'm like, oh no, a sports movie. But Justin's going to lead us through. You're going to lead us through.
No, I just built the springboard, the diving board. And you guys now have to take the lead.
Now we have to take the leap. Okay, so small town.
Small town. I want I brought up Goonies because I love just that ragtag group of underdogs and slightly outcast kids, right? There's an age dynamic. There's a couple older kids. There's a couple younger kids. There's siblings in there. Like 5 or 6 kids hanging out.
Not 6 or 7, but 5 or 6, just to be very clear. All right?
5 or 6.
5 or 6 kids. A small town. And what usually happens is outsiders in those stories who are, the criminals, the whoever's.
The corporation's going to shut down the ski hill.
They come in and they're going to put that outside pressure. Is there a way we can subvert that that hasn't been seen? Could they be the good guys somehow? Right? I'll bring up the following example. In the original Ghostbusters, which we all have seen and loved, the villain is the Environmental Protection Agency.
Yeah.
Right? Which is hilarious because now we need them more than ever. Right? They're not the bad guys for thinking that radiation should not be spilled all over a populated area. Could there be oh man, but then that gets us into Hallmark territory. Like the person from out of town who brings something great to the small town. Gross.
Just some other window dressing I want to add. I think because it's getting colder in Winnipeg right now, it should be set in winter. Should be set in a small, maybe mountain town. Lots of snow.
I don't know why, but I love mountains.
Yeah.
Actually, I know why I love mountains, but okay. So I spent a fair amount of time in Invermere, this mountain town, in my misspent youth, hitchhiking up to the mountains to work. And mountain town life is a strange microcosm. So I can draw upon. I like this. I can find us some details that work in here that are real.
Maybe this outsider is somebody who left town and has come back.
Left town, came back. Okay, left town, came back. I will tell me if this is useful to our story. When I lived in Invermere, we stayed in this converted, me and my friends, we went out to work on the ski hill, and my friend Carly found a place where we could all stay. There was enough bedrooms that we could all be there. It had been converted. It was like a landlord special kind of scenario, but we were staying there. Instead of staying on the hill, we stayed in town. And we had a cat that would always respond at night at the same time as if something was moving back and forth inside the house in this one place. And it happens so often that because we're young and stupid, we're like, the house is haunted for sure. And I said, well, I'll go to the city hall and I'll look up what the building was before this. So we did that. And it turned out that it had been the courthouse where they used to hang people is where we were sleeping.
Cool.
Right? Back in the day. And so then obviously what we became convinced of is that every night the cat is watching a swinging body going back and forth in that corner of the house. I believe we found out later that it was some of the plumbing that would rattle back and forth in there. We eventually figured that out, but for the longest time, a haunted house in a small town.
Okay. What if, drawing on all those, this is I'm trying to plus one off that. We have a group of friends that don't normally live in this town. moving to the town to work the ski hill for the season.
Oh, this is the
Because
flip. They're the outsiders.
They're the outsiders.
They're not the bad guys.
They're not. Well, we don't know yet.
Okay.
But for those who live in warmer climates, a lot of these little towns with ski hills will be kind of deserted on the off season because there is no ski hill to facilitate all the businesses. So once the season's over, everybody vacates, and then once it starts snowing, getting cold, a lot of teenagers, a lot of people from Australia. There's so many Australian lifties. Descend upon the town, and they live in town. They usually do a little bit of partying, and they work the ski hill.
Yeah, okay. And I can say that there is a fair amount of unstated but definitely real jealousy among the regular Canadians when all the for some reason, they're all so good looking too. All the good looking lifties come from Australia, right? And you have these like dreams of like, we're going out to the ski hill. The rules don't apply here. No, those rules just don't apply to those Australian lifties. The rest of us are the same still, right? Okay, I have an idea.
Yeah.
There was a moment you're going to put in the weirdness to the following moment. We were driving home one night. We had all worked super late. We had stayed for a party on the hill. My friend Carly loaded us all up into the truck. She had been working late, so was the designated driver also. And we all piled into the truck. Now, I also don't drink, but she didn't like me driving her truck.
For other reasons.
For other reasons that we can go into at a different episode. We are firing down the mountain road, and there is a ravine on one side as you come around down from the ski hill, and she had this habit that she said, I always do this when I drive home late. I'm usually by myself. You guys, everyone shut up, we're going to do this thing that I like to do. And so we all are like murmuring in the front and back of the cab, and she turns all the lights off on the truck, and we just go shooting down the mountain road around this bend because the moon is out over this ravine. So it's this moment where in the total darkness, the only thing that we can see by is the light of this moon. And it was honestly so magical. I'll remember to this day, some snow is coming down, but we can still see the moon. And it was just like a breathtaking moment. Now something should happen to those people in that moment. That's the moment where turning the lights off was a bad idea.
It's a bad idea.
Yeah.
Especially in the world of movies.
Right.
Just people doing something a little reckless.
Right. And then when we took the next turn, she would flick the lights back on and it would be fine. So
terrifying. I'd be so scared. I'd be so terrified. What if something crashes near them, like an alien spaceship or something like that?
I'm into it. So in that, with the lights out, we see a streak.
Yep.
Oh.
And they have to go investigate it.
Silhouette blocks, goes past the moon. Maybe she loses control and not catastrophically,
right?
But just enough to kind of get up over the, get kind of stuck in the ditch, just so you can't get the truck out. So we're kind of stranded.
So you'd have this great moment where you swerve towards the ravine, but then
back
counter-correct up the mountain slope side, and then you'd stop.
The car. That's not getting out without a tow truck.
So everyone gets out.
Yeah, nobody's hurt. Okay, we are stranded, middle of nowhere between the ski hill and town.
Yeah.
We've seen this strange thing.
And it's right there. It went into the ravine, right? Do you climb down?
Well, what else are we going to do?
Yeah, of course, that's what you'd have to do, right?
Do we send somebody to town before the rest go down to investigate? Does everybody go, or do you want to split up the group?
I would split them up, honestly. I think it gives you a little more side stories.
Yeah, it gives you an A story, B story.
Maybe in the B story, maybe there is something happening in town that
Okay, I have a great B story.
Okay,
so the person who, like you just said, so we just take it straight from your moment there. I'm so scared, right? That person gets freaked out. We shouldn't do this. And then they do crash. So it's I'm not hanging out with you freaks. We're not exploring the ravine in the dark either.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going home. That person waits up at the top, and they're not, it's mountain life. The idea that you're going to hitchhike home is not strange, right? Yeah. So that person is now walking home. Either the road's going to lead down or they're going to catch a ride. And then a car pulls up going the other way, right? And asks them a question. They get in. This person, this thing is also investigating the dropped craft, and now they get embroiled, and they'll have access to more information because of this investigator, this alien, this maybe the thing wearing a human face, right, is going to be picked up, but the thing crashed instead.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Now we have a beast story where we can follow along.
Are you enjoying your stay in our town? She doesn't speak English, Dad. Of course she does. Are you enjoying your stay?
It's no good, Al. She don't speak a word.
Outsiders are in a small town. They're on their way home.
I think
They
it's
see something
the
crash
end
in
of
the
the
ravine.
season.
And-
Most of the people have left. The
Yeah.
town has emptied out. We just shut down the ski hill for the season. We are on our way to Tammy's house for the end of the year
Then
party.
the opening montage is a real event.
yeah.
The opening montage is all of the lifties and all of the people who work for the hill riding all the rental equipment on the ski hill over the gravel and shitty like that. It was the tradition.
Oh yeah.
Sorry to out you, Panorama Ski Resort, but the tradition was all the rental equipment was up for grabs on the last few days. It's closed to the public because the runs are so in disrepair.
Yeah.
And you would just ride that rental equipment into ruin.
Actually, should the majority of our movie take place at the shut down ski hill? Because as a filming location, getting access to a resort that's off season.
That's true.
Don't bring production in. We're on create. Right?
It's also like it's those are like chalets are often like very opulent and nice and like just there's fireplaces and lots of things are made of wood and stone and they're beautiful buildings for the most part.
Good production value.
Yeah.
You're right.
So if we have some of our adventure, a good chunk of our adventure takes place in a place like that.
A favorite spot in the empty late night or after the season closed moment in our ski resort adventure was there was a room that had a grand piano in it, and there was one person that we knew pretty well, like as an associate kind of, who it turned out, despite their long raggly hair and their total like I don't give an F, they were so punk rock. This guy was the most amazing classical pianist, and we caught him one day playing in the abandoned thing, playing this like amazing piano arrangement. And we're like, wait, dude, we have misjudged you. He's like, everybody does. Right?
That's good.
Right?
That should be a nice moment.
That would be a good moment in the story.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. So I'm trying not to go sci-fi horror because that's
Too late.
I know, but
But it's okay if we keep it light.
Okay, but that's where I'm.
How
I'm
much
with this.
blood is what we're...
So I don't know about the story beats of them going down, finding the alien craft or whatever, but maybe it's some kind of host that isn't parasitic or violent or
It's like
whatever.
E.T.?
Well,
Or Mac and Me?
I mean, if we're going to family film, yeah, we could do
if
that.
we're going to family film, so that here's where I'm tying to your real life story is, Darren from the group who's a bit of a burnout and blah, 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 and gets infected or he's now a host to whatever. We're not going to make it back to town tonight, but the ski hill's close by. Like, we still have the keys. Let's go back.
Oh, yeah.
And Darren can suddenly play the piano. He could play the piano when we left.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That's nice. Yeah, that's a good twist. Okay.
Eyes start glowing.
Right. So he has skills that have been acquired. Okay, so here we go. Human skills that have been acquired along the way by whatever the creatures are doing in their assessment of the planet Earth, where they're collecting things that they think are of value that they can show to their whatever galactic civilization. Like, hey, these humans aren't bad. Look at what they can do. And so piano would be one of them. What are some other skills that humans can do that would be interesting? That these kids could now have abilities that they didn't have before.
So the kids are kind of getting somewhat like superpowers.
Yeah. But superpowers in so much as on the spectrum of human accomplishment, there are people who are incredible, and then there's us. Right? And so those people who have incredible experience and achievement, some of those abilities have been mirrored or adapted, and now the kids have picked them up by accident. Like the radiation that leaks from the crafts, doesn't make them, doesn't make their hair fall out. It gives them the ability to
There's
play
a big
piano.
boiler that never worked fully well in the big chalet, and Sarah, who's never picked up a wrench in her life, suddenly knows how to fix it, knows what's wrong with it.
Here's the plus one. They're at the bottom of the ravine where the old there's an old lift machine that used to be there.
Love it.
And so they get it running, and that takes them to the chalet. And it's like, how do you know how to fix that? And she's like, I don't know, but Isn't this cool?
So she can suddenly fix things. She can play the piano. We could have someone just be genius level, like physics can all of a sudden figure out every
Great chef.
problem.
Yeah.
Maybe. Great chef.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you think about it,
Coordination and
if I could be a real nerd here for a second, just like if you think about a skill that is specifically earth related, the ability to cook and prepare flora and fauna of only that planet would be very specifically something you would collect. And there would be transferable information, right? If you, for example, took a master chef to another planet and then you also took the flora and fauna samples of Earth, they would be able to tell you that's edible, that's not. That combines with that, that doesn't. These are, like, there's a lot of chemistry involved.
It's like the book in The Simpsons, How to Cook for Humans.
40 humans. Was this ship? Was this maybe a gift or a payment that some kind of shady government operation was going to collect, like this whatever, and instead these like
kids got
it.
I like that idea. So the guy cut to the B story. Right? The guy who got picked up on the way down the mountain, the shady, very classic. We'll just do the classic Men in Black style, right? Like the sunglasses at night, government suit, picks the kid up. Hey, where are you going? Need a ride? Yeah, gets in. Then finds out that he witnessed this, turns the car around. You got to let me out. No, I'm not letting you out. And now we have a way to have that exposition of like, we've got to make this deal or else, humanity is in the classic way in which in a family-friendly movie, the exposition tells us the stakes very clearly. You wouldn't do that in a movie that's trying to build real suspense. But in a family-friendly movie, this guy maybe is like the last time he can screw up before he loses his job, and he's got to make sure this deal with the aliens goes down.
Is there less pressure in a family-friendly movie to do that? Like, do people not worry about that as much? Like the overuse of exposition or anything like you just kind of let it go because it's just
because kids also have to know.
Yeah, and kids need to understand it easily, right?
Really
like it's a little more forgivable to have kind of clunky exposition in there.
In a family-friendly movie, there is lately always a character who says, in exasperation, the total impossible plot. Like, we're expected to go to the top of that mountain and then plug in this computer and then it's going to save mom and dad. And this is what, like, they do it.
Yeah.
They're speaking to the lowest common denominator in the audience.
Yeah.
Sometimes the kids, but sometimes not. Right? Just to really establish what's going on.
And to again, make this more like the kids' movies that I'm thinking of growing up with. It's not a bunch of teenagers. It's going to be two teenagers that are dating. It's going to be like Billy and Sarah.
Yeah.
And Sarah's the one who gets ticked off and goes back to town. And Billy's been babysitting his little brother and sister and their friends. So it's like a bunch of little kids with two.
Like a Stranger Things kind of situation.
Yeah. So there are two like somewhat adults. We lose one of the adults right away.
Yeah.
And then the kids are the ones
who's doing the responsible thing. I'm not going down there with you.
Yeah.
Right? I'm going to go get help. Yeah. Our working title then, unfortunately, now has to be Hitchhiker because people are hitchhiking. And you have Lifties is not bad. Oh, Lifties.
I don't know what that is. I never heard that term before today, but
they're the people who run the ski lift.
Yeah.
Right?
I guess.
I guess we should. That's just
common. That's deep knowledge from the hill, right? Lifties is not a bad one.
Yeah.
Right. Because the UFOs are also taking things, and they're lifting too. Yeah, and the skills lift us up and take us to new places.
Third meaning. Wow.
Right.
So we have a group of shady government agents that are coming to
complete the transaction.
Yes, to get the powers back.
And in a way, this is nice because they're not doing something wrong, but just because they are adults in suits with sunglasses and the cliche of the government being bad is very prevalent in small towns, right?
Mm-hmm.
People would not be willing to help them, would not be sort of forthright with them. It would create some tension that gives you that element of them being bad. And then they're also trying to do something good, but they have to catch those kids. So now they're chasing them, right? Things can escalate.
Cool aliens, like, are there cute little gizmo type things?
We need them even. Look, maybe machinery or something, but maybe this is like
bracelets,
automated crap that is abandoned or something, or crash landed. Maybe it's something that crashed thousands of years ago, and they're finally no, because we saw a crash.
Is it like essentially a crashed POS machine where it has like the trip to payment history is all of these things?
Exactly.
Maybe our main bad guy gave them the wrong coordinates, which is why it crashed. Like he's going over his notes with, Mulder and,
Scolder.
Yeah. Wait, did you tell him 89.6 or 89.9?
Right. And then Mully
Oh,
is like,
God.
oh no, what have we done?
And then that's why they're taking off to that part of the mountain.
This is fabulous liqueur.
Reminds me of the moonshine Ricky's dead pappy used to make.
God bless him.
Mrs. Smith, no, wait!
Gee, I'm real sorry your mom blew up, Ricky. Doctor said she'll be okay. I guess she just won't be able to eat any spicy foods for a while.
Yeah, so Scolder and Mully are on the case. It could be some kind of, I like the idea of this joke of like, it's a crashed, they explain it like it's like the POS machine in space crashed, and the transaction that we have regularly with this galactic civilization transmitting human value, right, off-world, landed here. And so, yes, you can play the piano, but you got to give that back.
Yeah.
Right? You got to give that back. What is it? In the Goonies, they need the treasure to save the town.
House, yeah.
Right?
Right.
These are important things to have stakes that young people would care about. What is it that these powers give them that then it occurs to them, we could do something good with it, and so I don't want to give it back. As opposed to just like, it's cool to play the piano now.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, that's a good question.
Like if this is...
Because they're outsiders in the town. So you also don't want to play on the trope of like the outsiders know what the town needs better than the town needs it. Maybe the relationship between one of the Lifties and someone in the town, that's the adult relationship, so that you could have some explanation of the needs of that community.
Yeah, my immediate thought is they're going to shut the ski hill down, and something that
Maybe.
And the idea that like the ski hill is a place where like, for lack of a better word,
the town.
Yeah, and also cultural exchange really happens. Like for all my jokes about the Australians, like we learned a lot about like people who traveled all over the world and then came here. That was actually a really important part of that journey for me.
I mean, we could have it so that like maybe the resort has shut down. They were all just laid off. And this is this final, like they're just about to leave, and now they can find a way to bring people back because they have these powers.
Okay, so coming back to the original montage scene
and stuff, put on a concert.
They've just been told they're laid off. And so rather than make it part of the tradition of the hill, these friends then take all the rental gear and ride it as that montage. They're like F you then. Right?
Yeah.
That's
good.
Okay, so we have a likable, plucky team of misfits who have no purpose, right?
Yep.
Like they have powers and they have had an interesting encounter, but there aren't any stakes per se. What if, and I'm just going off the top of my head here, but what if one of them, was really sick and having the powers now makes them feel better?
Yeah.
And so they don't want to give it up. And so their friends are happy to defend them because like, if they take these things away from us, then, Sally is going to not be able to walk again.
How about we have the shady government agent? So when they find the ship or whatever, there's, let's just glowing crystal. Glowing crystal fires into the kids and then isn't glowing anymore.
Right.
They take the crystal with
them. The MacGuffin crystal. They, at some point in our story, the government agent's like, we need that crystal back. And they give it back, but it's not glowing anymore. It's like, oh, you kids have it. And maybe there's some way they can take the powers away. So they take the powers away from one kid. Yeah.
And then the other kids realize if they do that to all of us, Timmy's going to be sick again.
Right.
It's going to ruin Christmas. So we can't give these powers.
Tiny Tim.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Okay. Yeah, we can't give the powers back. But in a proper family film, right, the moral of the story of Lifties has to be that, like, you don't keep what isn't yours. Right? It has to have come from. So maybe one of the characters or one of the people that we believe are the government agents are the people who originally had those skills.
The government also shut down the ski hill because this is going to be the new location where they're doing the drop-offs and pickups with.
That's right. That's why it shut down. It wasn't a bankruptcy thing.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
No,
that's the story they were told.
Yes.
That's not true.
That's right. Yeah.
Lies within lies.
Yes.
Wheels within wheels. Only the
So then the motivation, the stakes then become uncovering the government conspiracy and then exposing it.
They've hollowed out part of the hill with a shady government facility. So the kids have to be stuck in there at some point. And then when they escape, they're at the top of the hill. How do they get down the hill, Gregory?
They'll have to.
A bunch of
snowboard.
shady government guys on black skidoos
Oh.
chasing them down the hill.
Which we've previously established they're really good at snowboarding from that original scene.
Yes.
Yeah.
that they grab.
Maybe they were all beginners at the beginning of the film. They could barely snowboard. Or
They're
barely
bad at it.
Yeah.
They're me.
To bring us back around to the sports thing, I think, is that the idea behind the ski hill? Is the sports?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a cool. I
In my mind, why I lean so hard into it is like, oh, here's a
wanna do
sport I
hockey.
actually did and know.
Okay, I'm just making sure, because that would be a good way to tie in the sports thing, is to make it about make it a snowboard movie specifically.
Yeah.
I don't think there's ever been a snowboard movie made.
I think they tried, but none of them.
None of them work because there
noteworthy.
aren't aliens.
It wasn't sci-fi.
Well, that's right.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think that'd be a great idea, and have them be chased down the mountain by
They
the
have to
guys
snowboard
below.
not just down to the bottom of the hill, but the bottom of the mountain to get the government secrets into the town to uncover
Right.
everything and win the movie.
Or what if it's a race back? No, this is me talking production style, but also it's good if your story is a little loop.
Mhm.
They have to race from the top of the mountain down now all the way to the bottom of that
That's what I
ravine.
mean. Yeah.
Right?
It's not just a ski hill. Now they're on like raw mountain and doing crazy snowboard and ski.
We sometimes called that poaching when you went places off of the
Okay.
plan that you weren't supposed to, but you knew you could probably make it and you wouldn't probably start an avalanche. Right? Yeah.
I mean, we could have an avalanche sometime at some point in this too.
There's got to
Yeah.
be an avalanche.
I will say this isn't my story, but a friend of mine did have a really close call, which we could use in this film very easily. They are, they go off of the run and they think they know the way down to connect one run to the other by cutting across this area. And the first person, let's call him Anthony, he's carving tight near the edge of what looks like the edge of a ravine. He carves so close to the edge of it that the cut line of him riding his edge actually drops a shelf of snow off of it, which was hanging 200 or so meters over a cliff, like basically death.
Yeah.
And just by carving, he caused it to drop off and realized that they were in fact snowboarding on this huge overhanging shelf of snow that was not
So they weren't actually on the mountain.
they were on the mountain and had to very quickly
That's terrifying.
unstrap
Yeah.
and hike back. And as they were doing it, literally chunks of it, because their feet are now making cracks as they're trying to clamber, are falling away behind them, this shelf. So this is the reason why you don't leave the
Trail.
trail.
Yeah.
But it would be a very exciting scene in it,
Yes, I agree.
right?
Okay, we could have a scene. We're kind of vague around what powers the kids are getting. These we haven't really established it too
The
much.
edges of human capacity.
There is a movie called Flight of the Navigator
Oh, I love it.
where the kids just get a piece of an alien engine that
Yeah.
can move things. What if the kids get some kind of telekinetic power where they can move objects a little bit, but it has to be like close by. So
Or-
they can only move things like within their
Okay, because
personal
here's the
bubble.
plus one. Part of the ship that they take with them to prove that they found it are these
yeah.
panels that are about the same size and shape as a snowboard,
What?
right? And the reason the ship flies with them is they have a little hoverboardy, like there's some physics. And so then they have to take it to the shop, attach their bindings to it, and then that's how they get down from the top of the mountain to the ravine, is they ride pieces of the alien craft.
That's good.
There you go. Without having to give them powers, their
Yeah.
skills are now at use.
Yeah.
Right? And then everyone, I mean, there's a marketing aspect here. Then you could sell branded snowboards that look like
The alien snow.
alien snowboards. Yeah.
Charles. Hold on, wait a minute. Wait 1 second. I think I'm onto something here. This is pure snow. It's everywhere. Have you any idea what the street value of this mountain is?
Okay, but we still don't have anything for them to do this for. So let's say they're keeping their friend healthy with these powers. Eventually they have to give it up. Why would they?
Well, Well, you have to expose the truth. Isn't
Yeah.
that the motivation?
Yeah, so they're all, just summarizing this a little bit. They're all from this small town. The small town.
So they're outsiders in the small.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But at least one of them is from the town.
That's right.
And the town is basically going to die because the ski hill is getting shut down.
Right.
Because there's big companies coming in and taking over the hill.
Right.
To do other things with.
Right.
And it's all very vague.
Right.
They have this encounter with.
And they suspect it's a mining operation, which would be a
That
cover.
maybe that's
Sure.
the cover story.
Yeah,
because that is what happened.
And
in
they've
this
been
town.
digging already. They've been
Yeah.
digging just outside the ski hill already.
Yeah, already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They discover this alien craft. They get some kind of powers.
Oh, the thing that could make them crash at the beginning is a whole bunch of heavy equipment coming around that corner, which is normally nobody's on it when they're cruising down.
Yeah,
They-
nobody should be on this hill.
Nobody-
This road is closed down.
There you go.
So the kids intercept this alien craft, which the government was supposed to receive these powers, these items.
They got there first.
Yeah, the MacGuffin. Kids get that first. They go to the ski hill. We have a montage of them discovering what this can do, what can like the kind of like learning their powers, right?
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, in our story B, we have
One's cooking food, one's playing piano, one's like doing physics, one's doing backflips.
building a computer, and
Yeah.
we're getting a little exposition from our one character who's gone to town.
One of them can
picked
do
up
kung fu.
can do kung fu.
So, I mean, come on. 3 ninjas.
Yeah,
Right.
that's good.
Both our B story and our A story will have to combine, and all the kids will end up being taken to this government facility where we find out it's evil, off the books corporation is doing not so great things.
So my one -1 here is there a way for us to keep it interesting but not make them the bad guys?
Who the bad guys?
The government?
quote unquote evil government.
isn't the bad guy.
Yeah, because connecting with an alien civilization should in fact be the most wondrous, marvelous thing that humans have ever done. And
Maybe
to make those guys the bad guys seems disingenuous to what they're doing, right? Because
They
theoretically,
got one of them captured and they've been blackmailing them.
yeah,
for
like
these
I'm not
powers.
saying no, I'm saying how do we make it more interesting? Right? What is the thing that hasn't been done that makes it an original take on that story? Right? Because if they are exchanging, they're sending human skills one way. Does that mean alien skills are coming the other way?
Maybe. Maybe they get some alien skill. That'd be cool.
One of the kids has a set of skills that seems to have no
way out,
application.
that way completely different. Like, what would be an alien skill?
Yeah.
The ability to move water or something like that.
Yeah.
The ability to like
breathe water
lift
or like,
hands.
yeah.
Or there's always like the superpower that makes no sense. Like, oh, I got a crappy superpower. Like
Right.
this isn't very good.
But it's actually
And then you find
incredible.
out
Like in a
later-
warm bread.
Right? But if it was within the scope of what humans could already do, so it could be some noises they're able to make
Sure.
that don't really seem to. All I can do is go like this. Right? That would be hilarious. That would be a great. And then it turns out that that's the only way to communicate with whatever the big bad is.
Yeah.
Right?
Maybe the one kid gets powers that allows him to build things, and he's the one who builds the snowboards that are used at the end of the
Right.
film. You're
The technology.
I get that you don't want the men in black to be the bad guy, right? So I understand that. And I think that's a good idea. I think that we should make them seem like the bad guy until the very end when it turns out they are not really the bad. They are just trying to do something.
They have Earth in mind, but they have they've lost sight of the people who live there.
Yeah.
What
So
kids movies typically do is make them kind of goofy and inept.
I'm actually
so
I don't want to do that really though.
I mean, they can be serious too in some cases.
Okay, you could have some be goofy and inept because they lost their skills, and some of the kids have them, right? Like one of those agents, maybe the kung fu, maybe the ability to be like, the talent for violence
is one
that
of the
one kid is one of the agents.
Yeah.
He sort of sucks until he gets it back.
Yeah.
And then when he gets it back, he's like really bad.
So wait, how did the agents lose them, or do we just have agents
Part of the
already got the
experiments.
other ones?
Yeah, maybe part of the experiments, part of the exchange. They have alien skills now, and they traded their.
They have super soldiers on the base.
That's right.
And those are the real challenge for the kids. The kids can just mop up the normal humans, but then there's
Yeah, there could be some other piece. No, the danger of all storytelling is when you get to the end and you're trying to wrap it up, there is a desire often in the brainstorming stage to add a new element. We're doing it right now. We're like,
I was about to suggest that, actually.
right? Add a new element. You must resist. This is my contention in storytelling. You must resist because it will seem like a cop-out. We must introduce, at the end of storytelling, you have to introduce details from the beginning that didn't seem that important, that are now important, so that someone who paid attention from the beginning is rewarded. Whereas someone who has been on their phone the whole time can be rewarded by a sudden new thing, right? But someone who's been paying attention to the story should be rewarded for their care in paying attention to the story.
They have to go back to the ship because there was some element there. There was something they
so the race
is not important. It's back to the ship.
The race to the ravine becomes all important.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So they have to get back to the ship and they have to put stuff back into the ship. So maybe it's that alien, the one kid's useless skill, right?
He can speak alien. Maybe that's his skill, right? He can speak the language.
Or what if
genius?
The one kid,
he has the operating system.
I'm not exactly sure the mechanics of it, but the one kid doesn't know what his power is, and then it turns out it is some kind of time reset power. But he has to be at where he was before and touch an object that he touched before, and he can reset to that moment.
That's the alien
power. When he touched the ship at the very beginning, if he can get back to it and touch it, everything gets reset to that moment again.
Erasing all the events of the film and making me hate this movie.
It was all a dream.
Yeah, that's. But the
something like that.
Idea that we must return, I love. The idea that the weird alien skill that has no use, your idea there, Dan, that it's the operating system or the way to communicate with that.
So now they can talk to the ship.
And they figure that out in the mountain when they see someone else using it, right? And they're like, oh, you make that weird noise.
Or when they get captured, there's always a capture scene, right? The one kid is able to interact with another piece of alien tech that's in the lab just off across the hall and get them out. Maybe that can be the incident, the device that lets them escape.
They call whatever the device that gives them their powers or takes them away. The kids call it a lift ticket at one point.
Oh, that's nice.
Right? And then you have your lifties and your lift tickets, right? I'm just marking that down. I like it. Maybe that's what the movie's called. No, Lifties better.
Lifties is good.
Lifties is strong. So, okay, so then whether or not we know why, we do know that to escalate it, they have to have the chase down the mountain. They're riding alien technology. They get to be snowboarders. It's going to be the coolest snowboard sequence.
Okay.
There's a whole bunch of people chasing them. But those people, you're saying some of those agents have alien abilities.
Maybe they have powers. Maybe, and here's where we can turn the government agency into not evil guys. Maybe the end of the story is they need to get back to the ship to complete the exchange, to give the aliens something back and save not just the town, but all of Earth.
Oh, so what you'd have to
race
do,
back.
You'd have to have a poison pill character who was the reason it crashed. Is it's trying to prevent the exchange.
Right.
Right. And it's trying to get all that stuff for themselves. And one of those agents would then also turn out to have been in the story the whole time. It's a double cross. And now having collected a whole bunch of abilities, the kids and their abilities versus that one agent and all his alien skills.
Maybe the powers is some kind of like symbiosis where the kids, like the little alien is just like look like a wristband or something on their arm, and they're collecting the human experience as they go through this.
Right.
And the end of the exchange is them sending the aliens back in their ship back home.
Oh, so your MacGuffin crystals are literally
like
living
some kind of sentience.
Yeah. And I think if we like set it up so that the audience thinks the men in black are trying to work against that the whole time and taking
actually,
or actually they're trying to help,
and
trying to get it, like it's just a big misunderstanding. They're actually just going about it the wrong way.
That's right.
They were the tour guys. They were supposed to take the aliens, show them humanity, and like send them back. But the kids did that.
But an evil .com millionaire.
Not sure kind of the superpower.
I know that's always how it is.
They've good villains these days.
But let's not do that. That's what I'm saying. The reason I'm saying that is I've seen 5 movies where that. So what you maybe have is a jaded person from the town. Like the best way to do it. And when I say best, I mean like what I think is the most narratively interesting. Is the person who's sabotaging it all is someone who's been on that mountain a long time and realizes they're going to get what they get and it's good. Like maybe the person whose family originally had the land that the ski hill took from them and now the government took from the ski hill is the person that's like, F all of you guys, right? Yeah. I'm going to try to do this. Although I prefer in the agent on the inside, having been privy to all that information, uses it for their own.
Gets a little greedy.
Yeah, it gets a little greedy. And that's kind of like, in a way, if you want to get high-minded now about our silly script, the notion of like, you can't pick and choose the human experience. Like the human experience includes the fact that some of us aren't great, right? There are good ones, but there are also bad ones. And that's part of the grand human experience
somewhere
that needs to be uploaded in this exchange.
Truly a sight to behold. The man beat the once great champ, now a study in moppishness. No longer the victory-hungry stallion we've raced so many times before, but a pathetic, washed-up, aged ex-champion.
We'll have to have some interactions with like the kid's parents, between the siblings, like the human experience. So that has to be like sewn throughout this whole story, these events.
Okay, so what if the original, let's call him bad agent, right? The original bad agent. How he started was
the cop from Reno 911. The original guy. Like I don't know why, but he's been in my head.
I was thinking of what's his name from? What's the one with the kid, the guy, the alien, and the two guys from Shaun of the Dead? And I don't remember. Seth Rogen is the alien. Yeah. Paul, and it's Jason Bateman is the agent in that one.
Oh, yeah, Jason Bateman was good. Okay,
but
so
again, he was trying to get Paul home. He was
right.
He thought he was a bad guy, really a good guy.
But maybe that guy originally, because it's a kids movie, we can also have a redemptive arc where what happened was he accidentally downloaded some skills also in an experiment, and the skill he downloaded was lying and deception, which is a human ability. Like it's part of the human condition. He got that, and then it started to change his behavior. Like he sort of picked up the worst of human experience.
So you're giving him an excuse.
So that when he loses it, when he gives it up at the end of the movie, he can be like, oh my God, he's standing there now and they're like, what'd you do that for? He's like, oh man, I shouldn't have, right? You're going to have it, as trite as it is, if it's supposed to be a feel-good movie, but that person should also learn a lesson. They should not be evaporated by an alien ray.
Yeah.
All right. Can we loosely re-summarize this whole thing?
Yes. Football. No.
Skiing. Snowboarding.
A group of outsiders who have come to a small town to work for a season on a ski hill find out that the ski hill is in fact closing. They decide to take a whole bunch of equipment from the pro shop, the rental shop, and have a last ride down the mountain while it's closed. At the end of that, they all pile into their car, and as a final goodbye, they're riding down the mountain, and one of them explains, I always love doing this, turns the lights off, and they look at the valley, they look at this ravine, they look at the picturesque beauty, which in their minds they will never see again. And that's when two things happen. One group of them on the one side of the car sees something fall from the sky past the moon into a ravine, and the other side of the car screams, look out, because a bunch of heavy equipment is coming around the corner that's not supposed to be there, and the lights are off. They swerve almost over the ravine, then up the mountain, and they've stuck the vehicle. The one of them that was the most afraid says, like, listen, I'll go back to town, get help. I got to check on my girlfriend.
Yeah.
Right. And the kid she's babysitting anyway, I got to get back. And the others are like, are you kidding? We're going to go check out where this thing crashed. And they climb down in, find an alien craft. They don't believe anyone will believe them. So they start pulling pieces off the craft to show that they were there. And when they're pulling the pieces off, the MacGuffin crystal activates.
To get infected by light.
And a big beam of light flashes, and they find the crystals, which are not glowing now because the light has come out of them. They collect those as well. And now they're trapped in the bottom of this ravine. Maybe the light causes an avalanche, or they can't get up the same way that they were supposed to. So they seek another route. One of them realizes,
chairlift.
Yeah, there's the old chairlift there. Like, yeah, but that thing hasn't worked all season. Well, that's fine.
Not just old season, like in decades.
Okay, so in decades, and they're able to fix it somehow and magically ride the lift.
Maybe one of the powers is the one kid, if he touches it, it can make it work, right?
Right, yeah,
Something
could be
like
an alien power. And so they start to realize that they can do stuff they didn't know they could do on their way back to the resort where they feel like they can get help.
Yeah.
What I like about this is you get right there a scene where they pantomime being lifties for each other on the chairlift. And so each of them can have a scene where they make fun of the classic kind of person who goes skiing, right? Which is what we did. We made fun of every type of person that goes skiing. And then they get on the lift and they ride up to the top of the hill and they realize, hey, I can cook now. I can play piano. I have all these amazing skills.
I have all these powers.
Yeah, this is amazing. This is incredible. And then someone in the dark, empty resort is like, kids, you're not supposed to be here. And they're like, yeah, we work here. And they realize those are some kind of government agents who are now in pursuit.
We're missing a scene here where the government agency finds the down craft and then follows the fresh footprints in the snow to the now working old chairlift, which goes up to the resort.
Meanwhile, the person who's trying to hitchhike down to town, somebody does drive down. They get into the car, and now we see that person is dressed just like the agents that are menacing the kids on their resort.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a like, uh-oh moment because, what have you been doing, out here at night? We have a number of hilarious hijinks ensue while they try to...
Home Alone?
Yeah, where they try to use their powers and abilities to escape, all through essentially a home court advantage. They know the resort well enough that they can combine their skills to avoid the agents until they are eventually, as you say, captured and brought into the hollowed out mountain.
Maybe they use the one kid as like, we've got the one kid who came to town. We have him like...
Oh,
right.
Here's the scene. You have the scene where there's 5 kids. 4 of them are just doing the most incredible stuff. And then as long as the 5th one also has some useful abilities, they're going to get away. And all that kid can do is go,
yeah. It's dog like an alien.
Right?
Yeah.
And so then they get captured as a result, right? Like, oh my God, I've got the worst power, right? So then that kid can have the redemption later.
Yes.
They find out that there is this big transaction happening and that
they get taken to the government base that has been hollowed out of part of the ski hill, big underground facility. They get put in holding cells. The one kid who can talk alien is able to activate some device in the room across the hall and allows them to escape out onto the top of the mountain where they are now being chased by black skidoos. And
would they take their ill-gotten gains, their evidence, they strap on, in a little quick montage, they strap on the all the boot attachments you would need. They put their rental gear on and they ride down.
I can see that montage clearly in my mind.
And
I think they should get to the ship.
I don't know why, but there's a close-up of all of them putting on ski goggles.
You got to put on
and
helmets.
One of them, helmets, goggles, but one of them puts on, it flips down, it's close up on their eyes and they flip down and they're wearing a welding helmet for no reason that we are going to explain. Just so that there's one kid that looks different as they're riding down the thing.
If we're going to have all this build up with aliens, I think eventually the kid should get back to the ship. The one kid who can talk alien, work the technology, flies the ship maybe back up to the mothership. And that's when we get the end exposition of we were doing exchange. We needed the human experience.
Thanks Do they leave
care of
Earth?
Poochie went back to his home planet.
Poochie
right? So if they leave the Earth, since they're out of a job, do they take a job working away from home?
Maybe.
At the end, it's a Disney movie. So whatever happens, though, the important part is that the skills from the beginning are used until they're revealed what they're really for. We have a great sort of goofy gag where that ability is used. I think I like our bad agent as being a menace through the whole thing, and we find out he's been double-crossing both sides.
But really, there was nothing shady going on between the aliens and the humans. It was supposed to be a fair exchange of experience.
But one of the human conditions, which is the ability to lie and cheat and steal, this agent accidentally infected himself with and then started doing it. And so when they refill the crystals with all the abilities, he is sort of freed of this burden. and maybe explains to them, gives all the explanation of that. If you wanted to make him redeemed, he'd have to give that explanation at the end.
Yeah.
Right? That he arranged it all and then turned against them. And there we have it. The rough outline
That's
for
pretty rough, but
Lifties.
I think we could pitch that to some kids' channel for sure.
That's right. So I would like to say that this story break has been copywritten by the three members here today on Super Pulp Science. However, we all know, and we have said before, that the real effort of writing a story is going out and actually writing it. So, and they change when you do it. So I think anyone who took this idea and tried to write it their way, the same way that my scene with the piano player and my scene with the darkened road, I would have so much to add to those scenes. You, dear listener, would have your own elements that you would bring to a story like this. And it's the singer, not the song, as Justin is quick to point out, that makes it good. So if you have been inspired by this and you want to write your version of Lifties, obviously you can write your version of Lifties. That's no problem. This has been Super Pulp Science, where we have talked about how genre gets made, and we did it right here in front of you. This is GMB Kmichek encouraging you all to join the fight, make comics, and if you're on a mountain road, pick up that hitchhiker. No, don't. Not today.
It's a different movie.
Yeah, that's right.